Hi, I'm Patricia Greenberg, and welcome to It's Okay to Be Old, a show about all things aging well. My guest today is Lynne Glassman. She is a certified image consultant, a professional color silhouette analyst, personal shopper, and closet surgeon. Love that term, with more than 20 years' experience in the world of fashion. Welcome, Lynne.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here, Patricia.
So, real briefly, just tell us, let's start out how you got here, because you've had a very illustrious career in many things. When I looked up your bio, I saw a doctorate in education. So, what did you do before you took on your image consulting services?
I was the doctor of education. Now I'm the doctor of dress.
Okay.
I worked for national trade associations. There's a national trade association in Washington for everything from toenails, potato chips, and public
Yes.
education. And my focus was public education.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I asked you on the show today because now more than ever, we are so painfully aware of how conscious everybody is about how one looks as they age. It isn't necessarily a polished appearance or an expensive looking, or just people are so worried about how old they look. Add on the cosmetic procedures, the filtering of AI, and all these seemingly instant fixes to our appearance. And now we're at a whole level of unrealistic and, in my opinion, damaging beauty standards. So I'm opening with that. What are your thoughts on that?
Very individualized action or non-action.
Mm-hmm.
If it helps somebody in their confidence and they have the money and they have a very good doctor, then go for it.
Okay.
What I have found for my friends who continue to get fillers is when they get old, the face doesn't look normal anymore.
Right.
So I have one friend who had it done 3 times. She
Mm.
looks like, well, at any rate, it's a very subjective kind of thing. So I'm happy to give people names of doctors that I know that have done good work, but again, up to the individual.
Yeah. And I know you work with people of all ages, genders, and backgrounds to help with polishing up their image. But ageism, as we know, starts really young. And by 30, I see both men and women. My daughter's not there yet, but I'm seeing in her peer group, these kids are really, really have this unduly pressured sense to look younger than their chronological age. Knowing that, how does that play a role in what clients are looking for in a makeover?
Again, it's up to the individual. Um, you're right. They want to look natural and they want to look young. I'm very dramatic in my appearance, and I always tell people I'm not going to make them over to look like me.
Yeah.
I'm going to just enhance what they have. And I tell them to bring whatever cosmetics they have from home. They put that on one side of their face. I put something I think might be better on the other side, and we're off and running.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that the cosmetics industry is overblown? In other words, the amount of money it costs to go buy makeup now. I'm a drugstore girl. I love the Neutrogenas of the world and
Sure.
the Almay, and I stepped it up a little bit with a few different products. Certainly the skincare, but it's something I tell my daughter and her friends. Why are you spending all this money on makeup? It's unnecessary.
Many of them do. I wish I had thought of Sephora before Sephora
Yes.
thought of Sephora. Um, and I don't want to tout what I do, but I do carry a line of products
Okay.
that are high quality and equal to store CVS prices.
Okay. Okay. And that's what I think is that, yes, there's always that handful of people that have an unlimited budget, but I think what a lot of people hesitate with trying to step it up a little bit with their appearance is the cost or the fear of what it's going to cost without really investigating it.
And the people that they're asking in the stores are not really trained in color. They're just trained in what they're supposed to sell that day. So it could become problematic.
Yeah.
Problematic.
You have a variety of services, which I want to talk about a little bit, but I want to ask you, tell me what image portrays. Give me an example because one of the things that we talked a little bit offline before, was about how it appears that people don't care about their appearance anymore. That people will go to the supermarket in their pajamas,
They
or
do.
and they do. Or I've seen young girls now. I'm a big gym goer. I'm 65 and all the kids are 25 and 30, but they have no clothes on, and
Virtually, yeah.
virtually no clothes on. And or they're going braless with something this scantily clad. Does anyone use that term anymore? I mean, no
Yes,
clothes on.
I
And
do.
then and then they go from the gym dressed like that into the store to go food shopping or to go to CVS to pick something up. I mean, people are running around with no clothes on. Talk to me about, in your experience and what you see. And I know we're women of a certain age, if you will, but still, what does that portray to a potential employer, to somebody that's waiting on you in a restaurant, to somebody that's going to help you in a store? What are you conveying with your image and your appearance?
You're conveying a whole lot. My mother told me you never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah.
As a result, I don't go anywhere without trying to enhance myself with some makeup. They're trying to convey I don't give a hoot, is what I think.
Mhm.
But the job market is so tight now. I'm going to guess that that's going to turn around, and perhaps those scantily clad young folks are going to put themselves together to
Mhm.
try to get hired either online or in person. I hope I'm right.
Yeah. With you've been at this for a very long time, with so many ages and different levels of income and attitudes and culture. What does somebody who's covered in tattoos convey in this day and age? I hear that nobody cares. What is your thought on that?
You know, you've asking me something I've never understood.
Okay.
I don't understand the need to get tattoos. Um, I don't even know what it conveys. I know it's very expensive and very, it hurts to if someday they try to remove it. But
Yes.
honestly, Patricia, you're asking me something I don't know anything about.
Okay. Okay. And because it's a cultural phenomenon that keeps
Yes, it
growing.
is.
And it's again, I look at it like, someone's covering themselves, and like you say, it's permanent. It's a
Yes, it is
permanent,
permanent.
and even though there are some procedures that make it reversible, it, for all intent and purposes, it's permanent. And there's because I grew up in an era that was reserved for somebody who was making a statement about being part of a gang or an ex-prison person, or it was really, really out there when I was a teenager to get a tattoo. It was not something that someone did, and now it's pervasive and, like you say, expensive. One of the things that I say, Lynn, I have to tell you, I'm sorry to chuckle, is when I look at young people and some of the things they're wearing, and the artistic tattoos they put together, and I'm like, that kid's putting a lot of money on their body, a lot of
Correct.
money that could be well spent and put in a bank account for later when they get to be my age, right? That's my old lady speaking. But this is what I
Sensible.
say. Yes.
I
Yeah.
would say the same thing.
And so one of the things that I hope to accomplish today in talking with you is, letting people know it's okay to up your game a little bit. Doesn't have to be that expensive. And
Yes,
you're a
ma'am.
closet surgeon. So you go in and you perform surgery, and you clean out the closet and you see what people have. And I think a lot of people don't even know what treasures they have in their closets. Am I right?
You're exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
And everything I say, everything that is an option for them to wear should be in their most becoming colors,
Mm-hmm.
fit, and should be somewhat in style. So
Okay.
and then I work in their closets. I'm using their various items of clothing, and I put together many outfits they never thought about wearing together and take pictures of it
Mm-hmm.
so that they remember. So it seems that it's very useful. And also, we have an alteration pile. They could be wearing an Armani jacket, and if the sleeves are too long, it's not going to look right. So alterations are very important. The garment should fit you very well. And again, I'm going to say it again, Patricia, with the job market the way it is, I'm really assuming that youngsters are going to have to step it up.
Hmm. Hmm. You, for those of you who are watching, you can see how beautiful Lynn is, and her color palettes speaks to me. It looks amazing. And so you're matching up skin tone? Do you require that the person have no makeup on?
Yes, I asked
Yeah,
them to go.
yeah.
I asked them to come with no makeup.
Hmm.
Skin does trump everything.
Yes, okay.
And so I match their skin, their hair, their eyes, and then I drape them,
Hmm.
and they can't leave till they see what I see.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's fun and very instructive. And I get excited with each and every client, and I've worked with thousands of them.
yeah.
So I'm just very lucky to be so happy about what I do for a living.
It's wonderful. Lynn also has these gorgeous purple nail polish on her hands, this gorgeous, beautiful purple that uh, I love. And I'm not brave enough to wear color on my fingers. I always say if it chips or something happens, I want to take it off. And so I just wear my plain nude or French manicure. Sometimes I put tips on if I'm doing a TV show. So tell me about hands. How do we enhance the beauty of our hands?
I can't tell you how many young people are in the nail salon, and I go every 2 weeks.
Hmm.
So they're apparently interested in their hands looking
Yes.
just so. And that's also not an inexpensive habit to have. But
Right.
I've been wearing the same color for 7 years. I get
Mm.
stopped every single week. What color do you have on your nails? But at any rate, purple's my signature color.
Okay.
So
Okay. And the services that you provide, color analysis, personal shopping, closet surgery. I love silhouette analysis. Tell me what a silhouette analysis
people need to, need to know, and the most important thing I think is for them to know what colors enhance them.
Yes.
I don't care whether they work in a gym, they're stay-at-home mom, or they're a litigator.
Yeah.
And it again, you can go to Target and get your whole wardrobe as long as it's in colors that are becoming.
Okay.
You will look your very best.
Hmm.
Um, and when people come to me, I have them bring their cosmetics, and it usually fills up this table that I'm at.
Hmm.
And I have them show me what they do on one side. And if it's okay, I say fine. If it's not, I'll show them with what I carry, what I think is better on the other side.
Hmm. Hmm. And so do you give instructions on doing makeup? Because I know that's a big
Yes,
challenge for a lot of people.
I
Uh-huh.
do.
Yeah.
But at the silhouette analysis involves face shape.
Okay.
And that's very fun. I don't know whether you can see I have about 30 pair of
Oh,
eyeglasses.
oh
I
yeah.
don't know how to do it. So,
That's okay.
um, and I've got at least 30 hairdos for every face shape, even though every young person seems to have the same hairdo now
Yeah.
with the extensions and so
Yeah.
on. Collars, necklines, I have examples of everything and handouts. And so I try to make it fun, and it
Yeah.
usually is fun. That's
Yeah.
the feedback I get because
Yeah.
people are anxious
Yeah.
initially when they come. And so I want to help them be calm and so that they're listening, they can take notes, whatever. But by the time they leave, I think they've learned quite a bit, and most seem very happy.
Do you find that people have accurate perceptions of themselves? I know a lot of women think they're heavier
Interesting.
than they are, or a lot of people think they're thinner than they are. Is that something that you have challenges with in putting people together?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, what is it called? Body dysmorphia
Yes, yes.
is just rampant, and part of the image that I do, they get a 50-page illustrated handout
Mm,
based on their body type, what they should do and what they should not do. And so the feedback is that's also very helpful. when I take people personal shopping, I talk the whole time so they know why I think no, that shape is not good for your shape because you want to balance the wider hip with a broader shoulder or a horizontal stripe and so on. So hopefully they learn an awful lot and again, I love it. So I'm lucky. So
I'm
are
happy to
they.
hear that. Yeah. And I think that someone hopefully coming to you is receptive and open to what you have to say. Lynn, one of the big trends we're seeing now as part of healthy aging is purging clothing, jewelry, furniture, kitchen items, books, and yet it, consumerism is at an all-time high. So as much as people are throwing things out and saying this doesn't work for me anymore, this is old, everything's become disposable. And then you get on Amazon or wherever, they're all having their heyday of online purchases and people are buying truckloads of stuff online. Now, you can't really tell what it's going to look like on you, nor can you tell what color it is because it often comes. I've had this happen, buy something online. I picked a purple or I picked a blue, and when it came, it was not the shade that I imagined because of the color that they
It
show
gets
online
distorted.
doesn't match.
Sure.
Yeah. And then it's extremely difficult in with some companies to return items. So what is your approach to keeping one's life organized and simple while elevating your appearance and your surroundings?
Okay, that's a whole big mouthful of what you're
Yes,
saying,
yes, yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So I explained with the makeover, we purge right then and there.
Hmm.
With their permission, I get rid of whatever they're bringing that's 25 years old or the wrong color, and I have a nice big wastebasket that it can go into. They tell me they're giving it to their sister, their
Right,
niece,
right.
whatever. When I do closet surgery,
Hmm.
I have a big pile of things that with their permission, that's no
Right,
longer,
right,
that
right,
doesn't fit, and they're not going to get back into it,
right.
is sorely out of style, unbecoming, in the wrong colors. And so I'll take it to consignment if it's worthy of consignment. Otherwise, it's a pile to get rid of.
Okay,
So I help them purge clothing that way.
okay. And the nice thing about that, real quickly, is that you're an outsider, you're a new pair of eyes. And if we ask a family member or we stand there and go, what should I throw out? Nobody wants to throw anything out because everything has an emotional value
Right,
to it, right? Or a
right.
memory or something in our past that we want to hang on to. So that is very valuable. I think your opinion and your thoughts on that is priceless to come in and say, you don't need that. It doesn't look good on you. It doesn't look good on your sister and it doesn't belong in your house anymore. I love that idea of getting someone to come in and say, it really, really helps. And then once you
Oh,
let go of it,
absolutely.
so talk about replacement. If someone's going to get rid of a whole bunch of shoes, do people want to go immediately and go buy all new ones to replace their clothes? Or are people good about that capsule wardrobe of
Yes.
paring it down to just having less is more, that having the few things that look really good on you rather than tons of clothing that doesn't, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, but I don't find that most people follow that.
Yeah.
I find I like to have a person spend the most on a jacket
Hmm.
because I don't mean an outside jacket. I mean an indoor jacket.
Hmm.
And with the capsule wardrobe, they can have a dress that goes with that. They can have a shawl that goes with that. They can have pants that goes with that, skirts. And yes, that's a very good way to pare down. But honestly, Patricia, I don't find many people want to adhere to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
do write in my newsletter just because something is in doesn't mean it's good for you.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and I also say, don't buy anything on sale you would not buy at full price.
Okay,
And
that's a great piece of advice. That's a
and
great piece of advice.
but it's hard to come by. You always find tags still on clothes in people's closets
Yeah.
that they bought something on sale they couldn't. Oh my goodness, they were dreaming about it and they've never worn it.
So that's brings me to another thing about people buying for future. Well, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, so I'll buy a
Mhm.
size down as a pair of gold pants or a gold dress. That's my goal, is to fit into that dress. No, right? Don't even buy it.
I
Yeah.
I say no to that,
Yeah.
but if they're dying to do it, go ahead and do it. But I initially would say no to that. But lots of people do that, especially with the new weight loss drugs
Yes.
that are givens. Right. And so I've talked to groups that were in the throes of paring down. And I think and if we're talking like a 50-pound
Yeah.
goal,
Yeah.
um, I would take them to a less expensive store,
Mhm.
make sure it's in their best colors, and just a few things while they're on their way to getting where they want to be. To buy a home, but then, Patricia, I tell them they really shouldn't throw out all the clothes that they're currently wearing
Yeah.
because it's not out of the question that they're going to gain the weight back.
Right. Right. That's a good point. To keep something there as a range.
Correct.
Yeah, interesting. So, Lynn, you're based in Washington, D.C., and you regularly teach courses, seminars to trade associations, law firms, corporations, boutiques, department stores, women's group. So, what are you seeing now people are looking for? Because one of the things, we kind of keep circling back to this part of the conversation is that, image, how you present yourself and how you put yourself together, bad job market. But also, is there are people being taken seriously if they're not dressed well? Does that still hold?
It depends on the area that we're talking about.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of the artistic areas have
Mhm.
um, different ways that it's okay to dress or not to dress. In Washington, it's more buttoned up, except now, of course, with Doge, half the government is gone.
Yeah.
But it's much more conservative, let's say, than New York City or certainly than LA.
Yeah.
And they want to fit in, if you will. And so, I try to talk to them and get to know them, what their goals are, how they spend their time, what their budgets are, and take it from there.
We live in a hypersexualized society, as you know. So the wearing, unbuttoned shirts, or again, we get back to this scantily clad in the office, or when I see, I don't, I mind when I go into an office and men are wearing jeans and sneakers. I don't love it, but I understand it. There's casual Friday turned into business casual, turned into jeans and sneakers in the office. So many people are working at home. We've talked about this.
Right, right.
COVID made all the dress code go out the window. And it's astounding to me that we haven't bounced back and we haven't recovered from that. Where do you draw the line? Flip flops, sneakers? What's your?
When I do presentations in any of those groups that you mentioned a few moments ago, I always first ask for the dress code.
Mhm.
And people who work there might not even know there's a dress code.
Yeah.
And so there's always slides that I show of what you cannot wear and what you should wear. And you have kids here in DC coming for summer internships and own nothing but a pair of flip-flops.
Right.
So I remember I used to help them out when they were coming to where I was working.
Mhm.
And I'm assuming other people might do that too. But if they need help and I can help them, take them to a less expensive place and get just a capsule wardrobe would help in that
Mhm.
instance, and just put some things together for their summer position here in DC and in the suburbs also. A lot of these trade associations are in the suburbs, but as you said, with remote work, it's people are in sweats all day long. They
Yeah.
should be in their best colors. But Patricia, I get so many calls. I'm panicked. I've been working at home since COVID, and now I'm going to have to go in the office. I have nothing to wear. And so that's an alarm that's been sounding a lot.
I can remember when I had to go to school and I wasn't allowed to wear pants to school as a girl. We had
Oh,
to wear
yes.
dresses or we had to wear a skirt and a blouse. And then we were allowed to wear jeans. And I remember and I was a teenager in the 70s. So Next thing you know, we could wear Wrangler jeans with a peasant top. You know, Lynn, in honor of our event, I'm wearing a huckapoo. Do you remember the old huckapoo blouses? I
Yes,
have a couple of the old vintage ones. I love them. And that was stylish then, when we were teenagers. And I still never personally went out too scantily clad, or without, not much clothing on. And I'd even put a wrap on over at the beach. I'd put
sure,
something on
sure.
over my suit. And now we see people walking into the supermarket with a bathing suit or,
Always.
CVS. So there's a visible decline in how people appear in public. And what does that say about our society? There's because I think what I see is older people have taken that on because
Right.
of this obsession with youth. Men and women want to dress youthful, and so they're wearing what I call it's not my call because, like you say, you have to let people do whatever they're going to do. But I still think there's a level of decorum to maintain at a certain age and to be respected and looked at. And it's nobody seems to be adhering by it anymore.
I know that.
Right. Right.
I know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very difficult times now, Patricia.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel for that whole generation that you're alluding to.
Yeah.
So, quite frankly, if their parents didn't teach them that that's not okay to dress that way,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to learn the hard way, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
But I sort of understand it intellectually,
Right.
given the economy, given how difficult it is for jobs to get into the schools of your choice, and so on. So I'm assuming and hoping that's going to change. Could be wrong, could go the other direction. I think it depends on what happens in California. Whatever happens in California comes east.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's up to you
Yeah. Yeah.
to set the stage.
Yeah, we set the tidal wave across the country for
Yeah.
these things. Lynn, I wanted to ask you too a little bit
Yeah.
about accessorizing
I
that.
was just
Yeah, okay.
I
Yeah,
Patricia,
yeah.
you can ask me. I think a good accessory is one of the most important things you
Hmm.
could own.
Hmm.
A scarf that's close to your face, that's in all your new, good, enhancing colors, over a dress that's in the wrong color, that's okay. A
Okay. Hmm.
scarf is one of the best accessories you can own. But I don't think anybody is their best dressed without, I mean, I go overboard, but that's because I'm so
Yeah, yeah,
dramatic,
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
But just a little necklace, not hanging earrings, but most of them have just the studs in their ears.
Right,
It's so important to just have a little bit of an accessory wardrobe.
right,
I
right.
was just going to say that a
Yeah.
scarf being the most important,
Okay.
actually,
Okay. Hmm. And I
or a
still wear
shawl.
them. I have a closet full of those. I love them. The other thing I want to mention too is about older adults and young kids are in a money management mode, okay, where people who are kind of the in-between generations are still in the office or working at home, whatever it is, out to make a lot of money, still fighting that fight. But older adults are winding down, and I feel like it's not necessary. Some people say I've reached an age where I earned a designer bag. I don't spend that kind of money on bags and shoes. I find that is a waste of money. And I'm a little bit of a bagaholic. I have quite a few, but I've learned no matter what you spend on that, you don't use it anywhere near the frequency that warrants the kind of money you're spending. I have my set black bag, my red bag. I have a little bit of a briefcase, and I have a canvas black briefcase I use. My father gave it to me. I had a briefcase that was so beaten up. He said, let's go get you a new one. And we went to Target, and he got me a canvas tote to travel with. And I still use it to this day. It has the special sentimental value that he gave it to me. But I'll tell you, it's one of the most practical bags that I have. So
Isn't
speak,
it?
speak to us about bags and
I,
shoes. Yeah.
I certainly
Yeah.
will.
And for men as well, because men have briefcase and,
Oh,
and shoes. And yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
I'll be the first to look at the shoes a man is wearing. I
Mhm.
don't mind the bag is the attaché
Okay.
as much, but the shoes I do. If you went into my closet, all along the bottom, you see a whole row of incredibly expensive handbags.
Okay.
None of which I've carried since before COVID.
Okay.
Okay. When you get older, it can't be that heavy anymore.
Right.
I used to tote designer handbags stuffed and not
Yes.
give it a thought. Now I'm only interested in attractive but very lightweight
Hmm.
handbags that
Hmm.
has a place where you can pull the cell phone when it rings
Yes.
very
Yeah.
easily instead of having to go through the whole handbag. So as you get older, I think another thing that you hadn't mentioned is the weight of what you're carrying, which
Excellent
is
point.
very,
I didn't think
very
about that, but you're right. I even find that too. I don't want to carry heavy luggage and I don't want to carry a heavy handbag.
correct.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Shoes. Um, I mean, women don't really wear, I shouldn't say that one. I think my one daughter-in-law always wears spikes. I couldn't, I mean, they look so uncomfortable.
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, I find most women of most ages want something that's stylish but comfortable,
Hmm.
not necessarily 3, 4 inch
Right.
spikes.
Right.
So that's a big change, I think. But
Yes. Yeah.
I so that's what I have to say about handbags and shoes.
So I'm going to ask you an interesting question because this is a kind of an all of us that grew up having to wear pantyhose in the workplace or to school
Or
or to
on
bed
airplanes.
or on airplanes, right? It was a requirement. Now, do you have a reaction when you see a woman in a short dress with no pantyhose on?
I would have a reaction if I saw a woman in a short dress with pantyhose
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
It
yeah.
just doesn't happen. But
Very,
again, when you become a certain age, it should be knee grazing,
yes,
not
yes,
necessarily the minis,
yeah, yep,
but the young girls. I mean, I can't imagine what happens when they sit,
yeah,
but that is the style.
yeah,
I
yeah.
assume that's going to change over time, but right now, that's the way it is.
That's what's in. Lynn, would you mind sharing your age with us?
Not at all. I'm 81 and a half.
Oh, Mazel Tov. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
That's
Yeah,
a wonderful,
I'm,
wonderful. Yeah, I mean, you look amazing.
I have my energy level. That's the gift.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sort of indefatigable. I don't sleep well either, but
Hmm.
my client this morning was 85,
Uh,
and I thought she was going to need to go to the ER. She needed a lot, and it's
yeah,
tiring,
yeah.
but I don't get tired. I'm very lucky.
And we're energized by the things we love, right? That gives us energy and that gives us purpose.
Grandchildren
Yeah, yeah.
and work that we love.
Yes,
And as when you
that.
get older, you have more time.
Yeah,
If they live close by,
yeah,
unfortunately, mine don't, but more time to spend with your kids
yeah,
and with your grandchildren.
yeah. And closing, Lynn, first of all, I want to thank you so much for your time. This has been absolutely amazing. So lovely to get to know you. What do you like about getting older?
Um, I used to be much more anxious than I am now.
Okay.
But most of all, I wish I had the wisdom that I have now when I was much younger. I
Mhm.
certainly didn't,
Yeah.
but I do now. And hopefully, it's not too late in some cases,
Mhm.
but I find myself wishing that to be the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just feel blessed most days.
Mhm.
I have a husband who is in a nonagenarian, if that's
Mhm.
the right word, and he's very healthy. And so spending good, wonderful time with him, I just feel more relaxed and economically, we weren't big spenders, so we're okay to
Good.
live the
Good.
life we want to live.
Mhm.
And so I just feel blessed.
That's wonderful. And I want to bless you with many, many more years of health and happiness, Lynn.
Thank you so much, Patricia. And please get in touch with me if you're coming to DC,
I
okay?
will. I
Love
will.
to
And
see you.
thank you. Lynne Glassman, thank you again so much. And for more information about Lynn and her services, you can reach out to her at www.drofdress.com. Thank you so much for joining us here at It's Okay to Be Old. And for more information about me and the show, you can reach out at www.patriciagreenberg.com. Thanks again and stay well and stay safe.